seize the occasion on behalf of my party's leader, the Gambian people, and on my own behalf, to send our condolences to the victims of terror in Istanbul, to their families. I would also like to remember the victims in Paris and Brussels. That was not long ago. The San Bernardino attack in Orlando in America. I would also like to remember countries, Muslim countries around the world, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, Peshawar, Mazar-e-Sharif, Kandahar, where this thing that occurred in Istanbul is like every day today, is like their livelihood. That we remember them in Pakistan, Islamabad, in Lahore, in Kenya, Mombasa, in Nairobi, in Garissa.
Our case, we have 10 minutes.
I would like to reflect on the Syrian crisis as well. I think we all remember on the 2nd of September last year, Island Kurdi, the little boy who drowned when they were going to Europe as refugees. And we have all seen the TV pictures on our TV screens of Syrian refugees crossing to Europe when they are being stopped by barbed wires. It's so heart-wrenching that humanity will do this to each other. It's just heart-wrenching. To our brothers and sisters in Palestine and the people of Israel, it was very heartwarming to see how our two brothers were talking, and even afterwards they shook hands. That was very heartwarming. Today I have a message for you from the United Democratic Party of the Gambia, the UDP, and from my party leader, Mr. Darboe. Last year he was in Mali with our comrade, Mr. Touray, but right now, today, he is behind bars. He has been arrested for simply demonstrating, for simply, initiating a peaceful march. And how did this come about? I don't know if everybody knows where the Gambia is. I think many people, our African brethren, they know where Gambia is. But for those who don't know, Gambia is like a small country in West Africa. And since in 1994, we have a soldier who took power in a coup. And since then, we have been living under terror. The UDP is the biggest opposition party in the Gambia. And it's very popular. Because of this, the president, Yahya, is so threatened by this party that he has done everything in his powers to see to it that, the party doesn't exist. Intimidation, abductions, killings, you name it, Yahya would do it. He would threaten the population. He calls himself a king. He said he can cure AIDS. He can cure infertility. I think maybe some of you might have read about that in the news. But since we don't have much time, I would like us to concentrate on a very short experience that we've had since in April. This year, we are going to have elections in the Gambia on the 1st of December. The elections were slated. And because of so much hardship in the Gambia, people have started to rally behind our opposition party, the UDP, and our leader. And this doesn't go well with the president. But at the same time, in 2011, we had elections. We have elections every 5 years. The ECOWAS were asked to come and monitor the elections. But ECOWAS decided they were boycotting the elections. Why? Because in their own words, and I would quote, ECOWAS said they refused to monitor due to intimidation and unacceptable level of control of the electronic media by the party in power, the lack of neutrality of state and parastatal institutions, and an opposition and electorate cowed by repression and intimidation. ECOWAS said they were not going to participate. This year, our party had a congress, and after the congress, some of the youth wing, and one of our really very vocal, vibrant, young leader, he was the national organizing secretary called Ibrahim Solo Sunday. He and some other youths in the different political opposition parties decided, since ECOWAS was here, and they said, this, just what I read, and actually, we are living that. We know the state controls everything, vehicles, petrol, the state media, because the president himself, he says he built the TV station. So he said because he built the TV station, he's the one who is going to be presented. Anytime you switch on DRDS, it's Yahya Jammeh. So this young guy said, we are going to demonstrate a peaceful demonstration to call for electoral reforms. Ibrahim Solo Sandeng and some youth leaders, they went, they demonstrated, the police came, they descended on them, the paramilitary police intervention unit, the NIA, they arrested them. And they arrested 3 female supporters of the UDP, members of the UDP as well. Ibrahim Solo Sandeng was tortured and he died in custody. The 3 ladies were tortured and raped. And our leader, Mr. Darboe, who was with Mr. Ayala and others last year, he got some information from the security forces saying that Solo Sandeng, who you just elected as your national organizing secretary, has been murdered by the police. So he had a meeting with the executive, and then he called a press conference. At this press conference, Solo Sandeng demonstrated on the 14th of April. The news came on the 15th, and on the 16th, our party leader, Mr. Darboe, decided with the party executive they were going to make a peaceful demonstration to go and demand for the release of Solo Sandeng, if he is alive, or for the police to give them back his body, his dead body. And they started to march from Mr. Darboe's place, and we are going to the police station. All of a sudden, this was like after just some meters, the police intervention unit came again. Mr. Darboe was arrested, and the whole executive of the UDP were arrested. Mr. Darboe, in his own words, when he was putting down his statement, he said, I was, while sitting on the floor of the truck, a police intervention unit officer in the truck hit me with a baton really hard on my head. I fell to the floor and started bleeding on the head. I do not know the officer who hit me, but I then said to him that you, a Gambian, hitting me until blood is coming out of my body, I accept it for my country. While I was on the floor, Lamin Diba, this is another guy, was also brought and thrown on top of me in the truck. I remained on the floor and was after driven to the police intervention headquarters in Carnival. The wound on my head was so deep that it was sutured with 5 stitches. Since then, Mr. Darboe has been charged with unlawful assembly, incitement, and unlawful procession. The female who were arrested with Solo Sandeng, in their own statement and in their own words, one of them who is called Nogoy, 3 of them Nogoy, Njai, Fatoumata Jawara, and Fatou Camara. Nogoy, in her statement, she said, they then started beating me with hose pipes, this is in detention, and batons while pouring water over me. I was still wearing my short wrapper because they just ripped her dresses. And even when I fell, they continued beating me and asked why I was mentioning God. She was saying, La ilaha illallah. Gambia is a Muslim country. I again called out to Solo, but he did not respond. He was completely naked, just the way his mother gave birth to him. They continued beating me, and when the water got finished, they brought some more. The beating continued until early hours of the morning of 15 April 2016. During intervals of beatings, they would ask me why I am supporting the opposition, and when I answered, they would use both their hands to slap me on my ears simultaneously. This is what Darboe gave in her report. The other one, Fatoumata Jawara, in her statement, what she explained was she was beaten so brutally, and she was also raped, that she was bleeding. For 13 days, she was bleeding blood. And it took them 2 weeks before they could even say, okay, we are going to bring you to court to charge you. Because of this, many people reacted, and we have this occasion also to thank Socialist International, SI, for being the first people who came out with a statement to condemn these atrocities. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
When that happened, then the African Union reacted, then ECOWAS also reacted, and even Amnesty International also reacted. And Amnesty has been really, following the situation, how things are going on in the Gambia. In fact, they wrote a report, and in that report, they say Gambia's elections are just 6 months away, and yet opposition members are arrested and beaten, journalists are muzzled, and civil society muted. After that, on May 10th and 11th, supporters of the UDP who would go to the court to support UDP because they want to be present were arrested. Some were beaten and some were detained. The list that I have, and I really wanted to read the names of these people, each and every one, but because of the time constraint, they were about 105. Just to make sure that, they are not statistics, they are human beings. So how I would conclude this talk, because I say the time is going and I have to conclude, I want to make an appeal to this body. I think Socialist International can make a difference. And as people, we lose our humanity when we come the other way. When we see oppression, when we see torture, when we see people are being dehumanized, we have to stand up and say no to that. We did in South Africa. Today, apartheid is gone. Yes, the South African people did struggle for themselves inside South Africa, but they had a lot of support. And I am so happy the president, he said he was a refugee in Sweden. You're coming from Sweden also. This December. We are so glad that say they have. Sweden played a pivotal role in Sweden played a pivotal role. In South Africa, in the struggle in South Africa. Talk about a government sponsoring an opposition party, a party that is called terrorist. They call Nelson Mandela a terrorist. Darboe was a terrorist. Everybody was a terrorist. And Sweden also supported BIJC, the struggle in Guinea-Bissau. So what I'm trying to say is, we have to help each other, because even those who are here from Angola, I think one thing I remember, one of the most significant international show of solidarity was the Battle of Cuba Valley. Cuba coming to Angola's support. I think that was very significant, whereby even Cuban soldiers, they shed their blood. Okay, from Gambia, we are not saying you have to destroy your country. We don't want any more bloodshed. But what we want is for you to give us your solidarity, for you to help us, because we are a nation that never went through fighting liberation struggle. We got our independence on a silver platter, and we don't know how to fight. But we are at a stage where we have to stand up and resist. And anytime we stand up, we are murdered, we are abducted, we need your help. So that is the appeal we have from our party. We thank you for listening. It's late. Thank you very much, and we hope during tomorrow's session we can, share addresses and contacts so we can keep, the contact flowing, and that you don't forget that there's a country in West Africa called Gambia that is going through similar experiences that many people had some years ago. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
After that emotional appeal, I just want to agree that we need to fight more for democracy. Many of us have lived through similar experiences. But now we are free. The evening we will be going to the Delegates restaurant and just have a drink with each other. And it is on this page, on this paper, everybody has it, how we get there. So we'll see you soon. 10 o'clock tomorrow.
We say thank you to Sister Jainaba for her brilliant deliberation. We thank her absolutely, because among all the delegation, it is our delegation that have a lady to address the General Assembly here. We have over 220 delegates from all the continents, Americas, Africas, Asias, Arabia, and the meeting is dominated by Palestine, the conflicts in Gambia and other countries. Therefore, we are very proud of Sister Jainaba Bah. Currently, there are a lot of people taking pictures with her, because this is what Mr. Darboe's vision is. The UDP has to be relevant to everybody. The UDP has to be inclusive, and 42% of the UDP's executive are women. 42%. These are younger women and our mothers. Therefore, we want the faces of Gambian politics to change, and we want to be as inclusive and progressive as possible. And for this cause, every single Gambian is invited to the fight. Currently, it's not a party issue; it's a fight to gain the sanity of our country, and we have brought this to the doors of the Spanish, the Ghanaians, the South African delegations are here. The Guineans are here, the Malians are here, the French are here, the Tunisians are here, all the big players in Africa are here, and then some powerful European countries. To say that, as Sister Geneva says, if the world cannot give us arms to fight, but the world can do a lot of things for us, and some of those things will be explored. You can see Sister Geneva with a lot of women over there who are absolutely very proud that she was today's session, because we'll be back here tomorrow. She's the only woman to address this event. Therefore, on behalf of myself as the liaison officer to the Socialist International at the UN building here in Geneva, and with our comrade Yahya Darboe from the US, and Sister Jainaba Bah from Sweden. Our Gambia delegation were late to come. If not, they were going to be here. And to every Gambian in diaspora, and also our hard-working militants all over the Gambia, and the wider well-wishers, Gambian well-wishers in the Gambia there, from the women, from back, we remember a lot of them. We don't want to start naming names, and these women are formidable, and they are working. And for Yahya Jammeh to know that this struggle, this battle line is continuing, we are not going to give up. Whatever you do, we are not going to give up. We will make sure Gambia gets its sanity back. The private sessions we have with the South Africans, the Angolans, the Guineans, and others are shocked that somebody could be arrested in broad daylight and be killed. And such a person, a leader of such a country, calls himself the president or even an Islamic in nature. And they are appalled by those who are helping Mr. Jammeh perpetrate all of this evil and barbarism. On behalf of this delegation here and our host, we are not in any hotel, my brothers and sisters. We are hosted by our fellow Gambians, Mr. Make, Mr. Karim, Mr. Sanusis, and many other Gambians who are giving us free accommodation, free food, free drinks, in solidarity with all of our efforts. Thank you very much to them, and thank you to all the wider UDP members and our chairman, Mr. Alkali Conte, the Lamin Tunkaras for the logistics, Ibrahim Asillas for their logistics, Mboj Sidikans, the Ibrahim Adibas, many others, and you have the Bambumas, the Mafujis, the Siakas, all of them, all of them, all of them. So Geneva has suddenly become a celebrity, according to Yahya Darboe, who is, you know, now sort of, continue the videoing. This is what we want. We want to push women into the forefront, because Lawyer Darboe has always says women have to play a prominent role in our politics, and that way we have to be brave to change the landmark and the face of Gambian politics. Everybody else out there who gave us their support, their donations to the UDP, all the media houses, the Fatu Radios, the Freedoms, the Disporium, the Kibaro, the Cairo, you know, the Mafanta, you know, the US Blasting News, and then many other medias out there. We can't just off-head switch them all off. The Jollof News, the Point newspapers, the Foroyas, all the Gambian media for talking about the UDP and the UDP militants and those detained. To tell Yahya Jammeh that Mile 2, we are aware of all the events in Mile 2 and everywhere, and these communications are going everywhere, to know that oppression should not be hidden anymore. Oppression should not be taking place anymore. And all the Gambian civil society activists, we thank you and we are in solidarity with you. Yahya Darboe, we are tired now. We've been on this since 10 a.m. And right now it's coming to 7 p.m. in Swedish time. On behalf of everybody, with humility, great humility, we are taking our time, our own efforts and expenses for the Gambia. Not to get fame, not to get name, for nothing, but as patriotic citizens, to see that the Gambia is become one. We are become peace-loving and love each other and be tolerant for each other. And may God the Almighty endow us with such dignity, blessings, to see each other as people first rather than as any other thing. I thank you very much, Alhaji Suntou Touray. Yeah, do you have anything to say? Thank you very much. Baraka.